Did you make a New Year's resolution saying that you're going to get healthier, and now you've fallen off the wagon? I'm Dr. Hamilton-Stubbs. I'm a board-certified sleep specialist. I'm also trained in nutrition, and I'm here to give you some tips on readiness. If you aren't already a subscribed member of this channel, hit the subscribe button. And if I say something that you like, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to share. I usually put new videos up every Wednesday. When you subscribe, hit the notification button so you can find out when I uploaded a new video. So at the beginning of a year, many of us make promises to ourselves. We're going to get healthy, we're going to lose weight, or you just fill in the blank, whatever you promised yourself that you would do. But by the end of the first month, many of us have already fallen off the wagon, stopped doing our healthy things, and we've gone back to our old behaviors. That is not to beat you up. I'm here to lift you up because it's common and it should be expected that you're going to have some ups and downs, sometimes where you're doing very well with your commitment to be healthier, and sometimes you just go into a relapse. Now, as a sleep specialist, we get people who say, I am going to go to bed at a certain time. Usually it's by 10. But after a few weeks of going to bed by 10, even though they sleep better, they feel better, they have more energy the next day, life happens. And before you know it, things start to creep into bedtime, and they're going to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Why is this important? First, you want to make sure that you're getting adequate numbers of hours of sleep. It is impossible to be healthy if your body isn't getting enough sleep. Now, there are some people who say they can get by on 4 hours or less, and if you are sleeping more than 4 or 5 hours a night, then you're sleeping too long. Well, the research shows that people who sleep a very long time and people who sleep short hours, less than 5, are less healthy. These are the people that have an increased risk of disease and even death. Most people need somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night to have optimal energy and clarity of thought the next day. The time you go to bed is also important. You want to be in bed well before midnight, because in the early evening, our body starts to produce hormones that are beneficial to our well-being. One of those hormones is growth hormone. We need growth hormone to build muscle, and if you've been exercising, to recover. Exercise is always associated with some micro injury to the muscle fibers. These fibers get repaired during sleep, and growth hormone is a part of the repairing of muscles. So if you don't go to sleep before midnight, you're shortchanging your growth hormone, and if you sleep less than 5 hours, that has been associated with muscle loss. The other thing that happens in the first part of the night is melatonin. You start to secrete melatonin at dusk, and then it starts to increase in your body until you reach a peak level between 10 p.m. and midnight. After midnight, the melatonin levels start to drift down, and by morning time, they're gone out of your body, or they're very low. Melatonin is very important for us because it stabilizes what's called circadian rhythm or biological clock. The biological clock is all over your body. We now know that you have a master switch which is in the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, but we have biological clocks in our digestive system, in our pancreas, in our liver, and in our kidneys. And these biological clocks need to all be working in synchrony for us to have optimal health. So going to sleep at a regular time and before midnight will help your body secrete melatonin and help the rhythms in your body be more harmonious. So If you made some type of resolution and now you need a little help getting back on the wagon, I want to tell you about the stages of change. There's 6 of them. The first stage of change is the pre-contemplative stage. You're probably not there anymore. That's where somebody has told you you need to do something. Maybe your doctor's told you you need to lose weight, or your nosy neighbor said, hey, you need to lose a few pounds, or somebody that you don't even know walked up to you and said, hey, you don't look healthy, you need to lose some weight. Now, you probably know that you need to lose some weight, but you didn't appreciate someone coming up and telling you, especially if it was unsolicited advice. This is pre-contemplated. Somebody's made you aware of the problem, you're in denial, you don't want to do it, you don't have time, and it's not that big of a deal. When you're in the pre-contemplative state, this is not a good time to make a resolution or to try to make changes. You haven't committed to doing it. The next stage is the contemplative state. This is where you've listened, you heard, and you're thinking about it. Yeah, I probably do need to do something about it. The next stage is your preparation stage. And this is where you really should talk with someone or at least develop a plan, a strategy of how you're going to tackle the problem that you want to solve. For example, if you want to go to bed by 10, but you like watching something that comes on at 11, during the preparation stage, that's when you're going to figure out, what do I need to do so that I can still see what I really like, my favorite program or some news program or even some other event, but I can get to bed on time. So you make your preparations, and this is called the preparation stage. After that, you're going to go to the action stage. This is where you actually start doing things that are going to improve your health. This is where you're going to the gym, you're going to bed, you're eating healthier. And this action stage is also the stage where you're most likely to fall off the wagon. But here's the thing. Don't beat yourself up. Know that you can always get back on, and sometimes you have to reassess, am I really ready now? Things change. We don't live in a vacuum. Something may have changed to make it impossible for you to keep your commitment. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just decide that maybe you're going to put it on the back burner and when you want to get back to it. But if you want to stay on it and you're in the action stage, then you need to have a relapse plan. And this is what you're going to do if or when you go back to your old habits. And after your action plan, you're going to go into your maintenance stage. Maintenance stage is also difficult because this is where you start thinking about those old habits that you really enjoyed, but you decided you would give up. Let's just take food, for example. Maybe you really enjoy fast food, but you know that having fast food every day isn't healthy. You also know that if you eat a fast food meal, you might be able to get by with having one meal that day, but if you have 2 in a week, you're going to relapse into having fast food more often than you want. So during that maintenance stage, you want to have a plan for relapse and try to prevent yourself from getting into situations where you're likely to relapse. What happens next? Either you continue with your maintenance or you fall off the wagon and you relapse. The important thing about knowing about relapse is that it doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means you get another opportunity to meet your goal. And find yourself a support system. Different people like different types of support. I like people who are positive. And if you like people who are positive, find yourself a supportive network of friends or coworkers who can help you keep your healthy commitment. These are 6 stages of change that you need to be aware of so that when you are trying to make your change, if some of these are popping up, you know that this is not unique to you. This is just a stage that you're going to either go through or be stagnant, and there are things you can do to address it. One thing you can do is try to find a coach, someone that can help you go through these stages and help meet your goal and help you get to a point where you can do it on your own without needing a coach. If you can't afford a coach, you don't know a coach, friends who are like-minded. And if you don't have friends in your environment, then find some online support group. You can change. I know you can do it. Just decide what motivates you. When I hear people say, I'm going to lose weight because my doctor told me I needed to, that's not a very good reason, and it's probably not going to sustain your motivation. It's what do you want? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to lose weight because your knees hurt, and you know that if you lost a few pounds, your knees wouldn't hurt? Or maybe you want to lose weight because you want to go on a vacation, and where you're going to have to climb stairs or do a lot of walking, especially if your vacation is going to be outside of the country. And we are all hoping that one day soon we will be able to travel freely. So find what motivates you and make that your motivating factor, not what a doctor told you, not what your spouse told you, and not what your neighbor told you, or some stranger that you didn't even know who offered you some unsolicited advice. Set your goal, know these 6 stages, and have your strategy for if you fall off the wagon and have a relapse. I hope this helps you. Don't worry, we can always go back to our healthy goal. And here's the thing, if you weren't able to make that healthy goal, maybe it wasn't realistic, set a new one. Find something that's specific, something that's measurable, something that's achievable, and make sure that it is something that is realistic, and give yourself a time frame for when you're going to accomplish it. For example, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe your goal, ultimate goal, is to lose 50 pounds. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by the end of March, and I'll be in that bikini, or I'll be buffed and looking good on the beach by June, that may not be realistic. Give yourself realistic goals. Start small. If your goal is to lose 50 pounds, be realistic. Most people can lose about 1 to 2 pounds in a week. So let that be your goal, and just make small achievements by achieving each of those small goals, and eventually you'll reach your big goal. I hope this helps you. I'm wishing you lots of health and a long health span.